Yes, Neil, you have any question?
Yes, sir. Do we test the patient according to his workplace only, or we test his according to ADLs also?
No, it's purely, this is based on the referral source. Okay, so it's a good question that you're asking. And somebody asked, give me 1 minute. Somebody asked me a question earlier also. I forgot what chat was it. Who can perform or something like that. Somebody asked me. I don't know who was that, but okay, so the testing is mainly, or your goal is to test person for his job duties only. If you remember, I mentioned that 2 days before you start the test, call his HR company, human resource department of the company, and get his job description.
Okay, so India में हमारे पास ऐसा नहीं है, तो so we can directly ask the person only, right?
No.
Because HR department and all company यहाँ पे नहीं है, then
अगर होता ही है, अगर बड़ी कंपनी है MNC, they have to have. अगर नहीं है, छोटी कंपनी है, ठीक है, then you should go and ask the owner of the company or some contact resource of the company कि आप क्या करवा रहे हो उससे.
Not the person.
Yes.
Okay.
You are not testing the client for your purpose. You are testing the client for the purpose of the job or the referral source.
Okay.
क्योंकि your goal is to decide whether he can, not to decide whether he can go back, but to recommend the referral source, which is the job owner or the HR department, कि भाई ये काम वो वापस उसी तरह से कर सकता है जिस तरह से आपने उसको हायर किया था पहले, prior to injury.
Okay.
अगर किसी को, and okay, let me clarify this also. This test is not only for people who are per se injured. This can also be a preventive test or a decision maker test for a job application. So like sometimes, जैसे if I have to give you an example, अगर कोई construction worker है, right? Construction company है, उसको कोई contractor hire करना है, and they have no idea whether this person is able to perform the job demand or job duties. At that time, they will reach out to us, or they will tell the potential employee or employer, I mean employee, to get this test done so that they are sure कि ये कर सकता है. क्योंकि कुछ टाइम क्या होता है कि what they will do is they will get the job, and within a one week's time they'll be like, oh ये तो बहुत बड़ा है, ये this is too much, this is heavy, or they'll fake that injury. And at that time, as an employee, you are a liability to that company, because they cannot fire you.
Yes.
Because he said oh मैं ये नहीं कर सकता हूँ. They cannot fire you. They have to give you a substitute job or substitute activity. So at that time you become liability. So to avoid that liability, employers asks employee to get this test done, or they reach out to us and they say, okay, you know what, can you perform such and such test for him? These are our job duties. Can you tell us if he is ready to do or not? Make sense?
Yes, right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it like few countries test vestibular function before giving driver's license? Okay. I'm not sure which country you are talking about, but vestibular functioning is more after the fact. It can be, yes. You can also test a vestibular function for driver's license because, and this is more pertaining to the hilly areas, those who are living in the mountains, or those who have to ride bumpy rides, or and who has a long-standing history of blood pressure medications or any other medications that have a secondary side effects. of dizziness or BPPV. Does that answer your question, Rajiv? I guess he's not there. Oh yeah, okay, I got
Yes,
it.
sir.
Okay. Okay, now, all right, so let's start with the interview process. I'll just briefly go, I know this is an introductory class, but I'll just briefly go over what needs to be done during the intake process, okay? So, basically your interview or your intake, and this is a rule of thumb, at least that's how I see it. Your evaluation actually starts the minute the patient steps into your practice. Doesn't matter whether you're talking to him or not talking to him. Your observatory assessment starts right then and there as soon as he steps into the practice. So during the interview process, you will give him a set of perceptual questionnaires, a PIF, like patient information sheets and all. So document on how the evaluee first presented, noting the time, whether he came early, on time, or before time. I mean, after time for the appointment. If anybody is coming or accompanying the evaluee, as in the patient. Look for his movement patterns, if he is using any assistive devices or not. Check for his physical appearance. Check for his sitting posture. Check his facial effects, whether he's in grimace or constantly complaining of pain, or he's in pain while filling out the papers, or sitting on a desk, or sitting on a chair, or wherever. Check for his speech pattern, whether that expresses any kind of pain or that expresses any kind of difficulty to express his concerns. Now, second is to clarify the referral information and referral questions as the first step in intake. So as I have been telling you, that referral questions will need to be significantly defined to be objectively addressed. So as I said earlier, pertaining to the question that was asked, your decision on testing physical demands should match the referral source questions. As in, if referral source is asking you that please test him for the low back pain, and if his job duty says that he has repetitive squatting, bending, kneeling, crawling, or whatever, so you will test him or her in all those sections. So you have to make sure that before you start testing, or before the day of the testing, you should have the referral questions or job duties and functionings from the HR or the job place. Now, review the informed consent form and relevant HIPAA. I don't know if India has started doing HIPAA and consent forms or not. सुनील, तुम लोग करते हो क्या consent form वहाँ पे?
Consent form related to जैसे कुछ चीजें हैं, जैसे for example when I'm manipulating a person, maybe I need to take consent from him, but not in general.
Consent form, right? हाँ, तो इसमें वही है कि you have to take a consent form. You tell him कि भाई मैं ये करने वाला हूँ. He reads the form. Actually, there is a form. He reads it and he just signs it. If he is not signing that form, the test ends there. Basically, you are not testing him, because you want to make sure that he's aware of what he's going to do and he consents for it. And this is happening with his approval. It is very important. Okay. As you call the HR or the employer, you call the doctor's office also, who is referring. If it's the HR, you still call his primary care or his doctor and get all the medical history and medical reports. Because again, you should not take patient's word as a fact, especially in this kind of situations or this kind of testings, because he might hide some of his medical limitations, which you should know in advance before you, because that will help you to in testing also and writing a report at the same time. Okay?
Yes.
Especially any cardiac status, any convulsions or any seizures or any other neurological conditions, any mental issues or any like psychological issues or anything like that. Now, fifth thing is that he's going to fill out. So as I said, that you are going to ask the job duties or functionings of the person from his employer, but at the same time, when he comes in and fills out the intake form, there is a form that he has to fill it out, that he's going to describe what he does at work. So इसमें से इधर कोई clinician है who works on regular basis with the patient, other than Sunil, of course, he works.
Yeah, many of them.
Yes, so like your job duties are, if you are a practice owner, your job duties are, of course, treating patients and doing office work, right? Like doing management, basically filling out forms or whatever is needed to run a practice. So you are not just any regular clinician who just only treats evals and treat patient. You're also doing a management of a practice. So that is also part of your job duty. Now, if you are going to undergo this test, you cannot just write that, okay, I evaluate patient, I treat patient, I have to sit, I have to squat, I have to lift. You also have to mention to me that I am sitting for 2 hours continuously for filling out or doing my management, like clinic management thing. I interact with professional and non-professional staff. So all those things are your job descriptions. So that you will also mention into the question, that the client will also mention into the questionnaire that I'm going to hand it out during the intake process. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and it should match. It should match with the employer's job duty. But that you will not communicate, or you will not assist, or you will not disclose that to the patient. You will keep this as your record or data. You will not change or mediate in between employer's job duty and his version of his job duties. You are just keeping the data on your hand, performing the test and interpreting the data. Because what happens is, if you, after he hands out the interview, the intake forms to you, and if you go that, okay, hold on, your people say that, or your employer says that, oh, you don't have to sit at all during your job duty, and here you have written that you are sitting for 2 to 3 hours. Which one is right? That's basically a confrontation question. He might not like it, because what happens at job is between him and his employer, nothing to do with us. So in that case, or in any case, you have to follow the job duties that are given by the employer, not by what he's writing here. Because at the end, while interpreting the data, you are going to compare what he has written and what job employer has given and how he has performed. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, coming to the same thing, listing all the specific area of functioning to be evaluated, right? Designate the evaluation goals of each area. State the physical demand levels, like what is the demand level that is required by the job and what is the demand, at what demand level he or she performing at as of that day. Okay? I mean, he might be performing good a day before, or he may perform good a day after, but that's not what you're commenting on. That client might tell you during the interview or during the testing that, oh, you know what, yesterday I did a lot of gardening and I was standing all day. But that should not reflect on your report, because today he's not even able to stand 5 minutes and he's complaining to you. So all you are going to report is what he is able to do on the day and time of the evaluation. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
designate the evaluation task appropriate to each area. So as I said, somebody may come with only elbow pain or thumb injury. But if that person has come for thumb injury and ankle pain or ankle injury, or if then you will have to come up with the set of physical demand activities or the functional testing for both the body parts. One for the thumb specifically and one for the ankle specifically. Not one, but series of batteries of tests, which will, excuse me. Yeah, so which we will go through. Okay. Now, identify the individuals responsible for conducting each aspect of the evaluation. And anybody who performs the test should sign that FCE. So like if you have help in your practice, and if you say, okay, you know what, he's just going to walk and run on the treadmill, and you have somebody else observe him or look for any signs and symptoms, you might have trained your assistants or staff, and if you say, okay, you know what, can you have a look at him, he's going to run for 10 minutes. The person who's going to observe him for 10 minutes has to sign that specific test, that he observed it, and he's going to, because in future, if you write the report and if the employer questions that, okay, you know what, my employee is saying that he was able to do it, and why you said he's not able to do it. At that point, the person who is observing the test is in question, and you might go back and ask the questions to that person that what exactly happened. Can you tell me? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any questions specific?
So while we carry the physical evaluation program, the patient undergoes many tests.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So while we carry the evaluation program, the patient undergoes many tests
Yes.
according to his workplace.
Yes.
What if the patient is magnifying his trouble so much that he's not carrying the test? He's not allowing us to carry the test. Then how to deal with that kind of conditions?
You just move on from one test to another. So because it is not only one test. It's not one thing that you're testing. You're testing so many different things. You might test the same thing, but in a different way at that time. As I mentioned earlier, like if a patient complains to you that I'm not able to lift my head up, and my pain is 9 out of 10, and you know for sure that it is not, it's no way it is 9 out of 10. At that time, you might just ask him that, you know what, sit on the chair and tie your shoelaces by bending your back. And at the same time, you will talk to him and make sure you are higher than him. That way, he is forced to look at you when he's talking. So if he lifts his head up to talk to you while he's like basically like this. So if he's tying and lifting his head up and talking to you, what does that tell you?
It will help us to know how is the condition of his back, neck, and many other things.
Yes. So he's talking, right? He's talking without wincing or without complaining or anything. That tells you that he's faking or he's not, he's magnifying his symptoms. So that's what you will write on the test.
There should be alternates.
What do you mean?
There should be alternates to test the condition of patient.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that you are doing a cherry picking or hunting after him. So basically you do a series of tests and you decide and you just write what he is presenting. If he's not doing any tests or if he's saying no to all the tests, then just write no, that he didn't perform. As I said earlier, you are not making any kind of judgments based on his performance. You are just, if he's magnifying, he's magnifying. If he's not magnifying, he's not magnifying. You are just writing the facts for that day. That's all.
Okay.
Okay? Because in that case, you just cannot keep running battery of tests for same thing. जैसे अभी मैंने ये head neck pain का बोला. Subjectively, is reporting that he cannot do. Range of motion is limited, yes, but that might be self-limiting activities, right? So you all you can do is you can give one or two more tests and see if he's improving or if he's participating in it. So basically, that's what the distracted movement patterns come into picture. So when I say that your testing starts the minute the patient walks into your clinic. So what you're observing is for this kind of distracted movement patterns. Do you know what is distracted movement patterns?
When the patient is carrying the movements involuntary and he's not conscious about what we are testing about.
You are partly right. It is not that what you are testing about, but it is your observation. Patient, so if I'm sitting in front of you and I'm asking you to raise your head up, you will not do it for me because I'm looking at you. But I'm here and I'm asking, and there is a mirror in front of me and I'm asking you to lift your head up. You are unaware. You are thinking that I'm not paying attention and I'm doing my thing. And then you go ahead and lift your head to correct your hair or whatever. And I observed it, that you are doing it. That's called distracted movement patterns, is when the evaluee is not aware that the evaluator is observing him and he performs activities.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, so that goes into your report. That patient presented with distracted movement patterns. Okay, so those falls under validity and functioning tests. So there are some tests that are validity tests that we will perform during this. So you have to do validity and function tests to come to the conclusion whether he was magnifying his symptoms or they were genuine symptoms in performance. Okay. Now somebody asked me here, can we use this test in child/student or only to the employer? Girija, can you hear me? Or she left, I guess.
Is there Girija?
Sir?
What do you exactly mean by this test? मतलब बच्चों में और स्टूडेंट्स में कर सकते हैं या सिर्फ जो काम कर रहा है कहीं पे उसी में कर सकते हैं, राइट?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, no, you student, what do you mean by student? Like child and
Child,
student?
sorry, students who are studying bachelor level or plus two higher secondary level.
Like if somebody is not working yet but they're still student.
I mean, you can perform this test on anybody if you want, technically, because to decide whether he's fit for that activity or not. But you need to know the purpose of the test, that why you are performing it. That is the first thing you should be aware of or know. I mean, it is as good as you are doing a regular evaluation in which patient complains that I'm not able to lift my hand up. And what test do? You do your needs impingement test, or you do your drop arm test, and all those things to decide whether your shoulder is has right rotator cuff is injured or not, and decide. But this is, as I said, this is more specifically and more oriented towards checking the functional capacity or functional ability of that person. But what is the main purpose of this test? Why you are administering this test on this individual? What is your final goal? What do you want to determine out of this test? So जैसे आपने पूछा कि can you do this test on child and student? But child or student में आप test करके आप what is the main outcome? Like what are you looking for in those people, in those clients?
Like just like I have a patient of thumb amputation or and 1% of wrist fracture, then I have to assess how the patient, child or student, right or not, he or she capable of lifting daily activities.
Yes, but for that you don't need you can do it, but I don't think that this would fit into this testing would fit for that client, because at that point he is your regular physical therapy client who you are trying to improve. Yes, you can use part of this test. You can use some of the functional physical demand activities and perceptual testing, and you can decide whether this person is either perceptually hyper projecting his symptoms, or physically or actually he is not up to the mark. Make sense?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Can you use this test for confusing patients like head injury? No. If you have dementia, you cannot use this test. Any other questions? Sir, is it so that we are doing such test on a particular person for one he is working for? Yes, mostly 90% of the time, this testing is done on an injured worker or a person who is injured and who is willing to move out of his job, or willing to return back to work, or planning to switch his job. क्योंकि अगर यंग बंदा है जैसे सुनील या आप लोग या मैं, you are not looking to stop your career, right? You are looking to substitute or change from, जैसे like for God forbid if anybody gets injured and he's not able to return back to work, but he's willing to return back to work, but work is not ready to take him because he might be a liability at that point. His mental power is ready to go for it, but physically he is not ready, and at that point he becomes liability for the employer. So in that case, you administer this test. Sir, pain or the anticipation of pain or other symptoms may influence an individual's performance during testing. So what should evaluator do at that time for proper evaluation then? Okay, so as I said, there are validity tests and perceptual tests. You are going to administer all of those like Badal's sign. You're going to look for that non-organic physical sign. Again, you are not focusing to pinpoint on him or pinpoint or decide on anything that he's faking or he's not faking or he's genuine. You are just going to collect the data from him perceptually, whether what he feels is right or what he feels is projectioning of a magnification of the symptoms. So you don't, as an evaluator at that point, you have, all you can do is two things: be observant every time or every minute or every second he is in the practice. Be observant. That's where your skills come to in, clinical skills come in picture. And write down the testing parameters, like standardized testing parameters that in the subsequent course I will show you, I will tell you, and I'll give you that what are the tests, what you're going to look into, and how to interpret those tests. So for your question about pain and anticipation, it is more subjective. So as I said, during the intake process, that person takes and fills out those questionnaire. Keep it on file and have him go through the series of batteries and be observant when he's performing those tests. Now go back and refer to the forms or pain questionnaires that he has filled out, because you're going to write it on the report whether what he's perceived. I'm sure most of your questions will be self-answered when we go through this course. Okay, what would be the other reasons to perform this test? To check your self-ability to return back to work. The word itself says functional capacity, so that's your main reason, to check your capacity, whether you are ready to do that work or not. If the person is ready to do that work, or he needs to be given a vocational rehabilitation. All right, Nikita, did I answer your question? And Nazat, Afrin?
Sir, yes, sir.
And Nikita? Nikita, I believe, I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, bhai. Everybody, soon we are going to launch the course, the whole course. This is just an introductory. There is a lot whole things in this whole course. So बहुत जल्दी पूरा course आप सबके सामने आएगा. So whoever is interested for the course can contact me, because आज although हमने सोचा था 30-40 मिनट में हो जाएगा, but still 1 घंटे से ऊपर टाइम हो गया. So we'll try कि हम एक course organize करेंगे जल्दी about this, as it will take I think 3-4 hours minimum.
किसका?
कोर्स का अगर हम करते हो 3-4 घंटे तो कम से कम होंगे.
और ज़्यादा होंगे.
May I ask one question, please?
I'm sorry?
Sir, can I ask one question, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, like I'm from Sikkim Manipal University. I'm doing MPT in CBR. And sir, I'm doing thesis on functional capacity evaluation. And my thesis topic is inter-rater reliability of skilled job with manual dexterity, component of generic work capacity evaluations tools in jewelry workers. And sir, what all assessment, or sir, if people have in the jewelry workers, they don't have any medical history of any injuries or all, and they will they have like some kind of like injuries in hands, and they will like complain of any pain in their neck, shoulder and neck. And sir, like how can I assess the patient with the specific injuries in like manual dexterity workers, sir? Manual dexterity workers in generic work capacity, like in jewelry workers. I'm doing thesis on jewelry workers.
So injury workers
The
on
skill.
manual dexterity, your testing or
Yeah,
your functional capacity testing should focus on fine motor
yeah,
and gross motor skills. So at that
yeah.
time, you will
Fine
not,
motor and skilled. Like
right.
yeah,
So you will, at that time, your battery of tests should only focus on like drinking tea, lifting anything,
yeah.
lifting a gallon of milk, or whatever
Yes,
activities he's performing. You at that point you will not ask him to look at the sky and do an observatory skills, you know, or you will not
yes,
ask
sir.
him.
Mainly like yeah, sir. But they mainly don't have like a problem in their hands and their finger dexterity. But they will like complain of pain on the neck or the back. Then
Yeah,
how
but
can I make them
that's
like
not your
do the
focus.
stable
But he's here for
dexterity?
the manual thing, right? You said you are testing only for the hand, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so you will not focus on all those things. As I said, anybody can have pain anywhere, but what is the purpose of the test? Why are you testing him? Keep that in your mind. And what are you testing for? Keep that in your mind before you start doing testing. And your focus should only be on testing that body part mainly. Your 99% of the test should be focusing there. In that subjective questionnaires, perceptual cache questionnaires, he is going to fill out, or you are going to select the battery of, you have to select the battery of test based on what he's coming for, or what your purpose is. Even though he has pain in head, neck, back, and leg, you do not have to pay attention to that.
Okay, sir.
प्रेगनेंसी वाला एक क्वेश्चन था, आई जस्ट रेड इट. Yes, you have to be cautious about pregnant females. You can just say that it was self-limiting, or the testing was not performed at the full capacity secondary to recent pregnancy.
Bye bye. We'll start now. We'll stop now, I think, because the meeting is about to end. So maybe whatever question
Okay.
they'll have, we'll see it later.
Thank you guys for the opportunity. Thank you, Sunil, for the opportunity.
Thank you
I
so much.
hope
Bye. But I know this is your
you
clinic
guys
time.
like this, and I will
No,
try to work it out for the full course.
This was wonderful, and soon we'll have a full course with you. And I know this is your clinic time right now. So thank you so much for uh, accepting that. I know it was very difficult for you to spend so much of time, but then मैंने पहले ही बोला था ये compulsory question है, ये वो नहीं है.